So you know, as Jay said earlier, the industry does seem to be exploding in all directions. We're talking about big AAA titles, you know, 100, 200 person teams. We're also talking about, you know, the casualification of the business. We're talking about these smaller games, the iPhone games, Xbox Live Arcade, things like that. Do you guys, especially the guys that have been in the business a long time, do you feel like the entry barrier is lower now if you're a new student? Because we have a lot of students here today, obviously, people who are interested in game design and people who frankly want your jobs. Do you feel like it's easier to get in the business? Are we going back to the garages and the basements? Are we going back to, you know, can you sit down and make a name for yourself and make a cool game that shows up in the App Store tomorrow? Yeah, Trent, we haven't talked to you.
Yeah, sure. I'll take this one because I think it hits pretty close to home with what we're doing. And I think, as some of the other guys have said too, I think the opportunity is there. It may be at one company or another, or maybe at a large company, a small company, but the reality of it is that the market overall is expanding. So I think people need to, you know, probably be fairly open-minded with their first job in terms of getting in there and making their mark. But in terms of finding opportunity, I think there's probably more opportunity right now than there ever has been. It just looks a little different. You don't just walk up to EA and get a job. You have to kind of be creative, I guess.
I see Dave picked up the microphone. He's feeling something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, like, especially since I went through the program at VFS, and those of you who are out in the audience that are going through the program or going to go through the program, is like, do a lot of research about what games are out there, right? What are the opportunities that are going to come up? Are you saying
play more games?
Yeah, absolutely, play more games, but also look at the jobs. That's what I'm more saying, is look at the jobs. Where do you fit in the industry? And focus your portfolio and your work during your time at VFS for the jobs that are going to be available to you when you get out. And I think that anything else I can say that'll be great for you to get a job. So.
Now, what if your dream job is to make video games and you wake up one morning and you realize that you're working on a minigame collection of My Pretty Pony? What do you do? I mean, this has happened to you guys. I know it's happened to you guys, right? Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I think you should keep doing it because actually, even in those little games, what I started off with, doing kids boards games where I'd animate like little, little like animated characters you're playing checkers against, which like you couldn't even tell your friends. They're kind of like, these are the games that I'm working on. But even in those things, I mean, I learned an incredible amount, even from like a small game all the way up to big. I couldn't have gotten to where I was without doing all these small games.
Jay?
That's still a pretty good job. Because there's some crappy jobs out there in the world, and like making games, even if they're cute, like you can find some fun in them, and because gas stations aren't the place you want to be.
Yeah, or you could fold pants at the Gap.
Yeah, I'd add something to that too, which is like, if you have the My Little Pony gig, just zip it and do it. But when you go home at night, prove it. Do the thing that you think you can do, and make it happen. Because there's an awful lot of people that talk about how much My Little Pony sucks, but they don't necessarily have the alternative to that. So prove it.
I'd also like to say the company I worked at made a My Little Pony game. So speaking from My Little Pony experience, it is embarrassing, but yeah, at the end of the day, totally what we did was the whole bunch of us actually felt more motivated by making these games every day. So at the end of the day, we made the game we wanted. We ultimately got that published, actually, too. It's kind of fun.
Go ahead, Ted.
There's a practical consideration when you're starting out, in that a lot of those crappy jobs are going to what will pay the bills. So aside from the benefit of learning from experience, if you're starting out, it's a great way to pay your way through the hard knocks. And the barrier to entry is really low. That if you're starting out, there should be no reason, whether you're starting your own company or applying, to have some good samples of your work to show to potential employers. So there's a lot of benefits to just getting in and doing it.
I'll throw one last thing in.
All right, go ahead.
So given the fact that we're coming to the end of a 3-year marathon on Dead Rising 2, the thought of doing a 3-week My Little Pony game right now is really appealing. Because the big games are hard. They're incredibly hard, and once you begin that ride, it must be the same thing that filmmakers of giant blockbusters feel, like James Cameron on Avatar or whatever. It's like, I'm diving in, and the next X years of my life is going to be this project. So, My Little Pony, not so bad right now.